Okay, it is Friday, March 21st. We had our first day of the round of 64. We'll get into that. I have what to say about the New York Rangers. I just need somewhere to rant. That's the whole point of this show, was to give me somewhere to just scream into a mic. So we'll do that. We have our AL West preview for the Major League Baseball season. This is the early game podcast. Listen to the show in the mornings, on your commute, whenever and wherever, so you can be a part of today's sports conversations. Let's go. Okay, so we start our morning here talking about March Madness. The round of 64 started yesterday, and this was all in all a boring day of college basketball. There were certainly upsets. We had McNeese over Clemson. Everyone loves this McNeese story. With this guy Amir Khan, he walks out with this boombox. Cute, very fun, good to have a story, very nice. McNeese is a real team. This was not even a quite. This game was nowhere close to being competitive. McNeese was a better team than Clemson. I'm going to contradict myself within 10 seconds. Clemson made it close at the end, and really close. It was a close game. I take it back that it was uncompetitive, but McNeese got to such a dominating start. Clemson was unable to overcome how great McNeese was to start the game. And so McNeese upset Clemson, Troy upset Missouri, and I heard so much about how good the SEC was. I obviously wasn't watching SEC basketball so closely, but I heard so much about how good the SEC was, and you know, they're so far and above, and okay, a Division II team just beat one of your guys. So let's pump the brakes here. So Troy was one of those big upsets yesterday. Arkansas over Kentucky. I had that. I wrote Arkansas over Kentucky. Arkansas over Kansas. That would have been great if John Calipari coached against Kentucky, but no, it was Arkansas over Kansas. And I just want to say the Razorbacks looked excellent down the stretch there, and they had a big lead, they coughed up the lead, and then they were just able to they were just the better basketball team. They just were the better basketball team. They contained Hunter Dickinson, and I just thought they played a better game and a more calculated game down the stretch. So good for Arkansas. They'll play St. John's in the round of 32. And so that actually, so I had two plays on X yesterday. By the way, I've been tweeting mostly off my main account, my personal account, I mean. And I had two plays yesterday, both hit. Actually, I really had three plays yesterday. One was a hockey play, but I parlayed Arkansas and St. John's. Hashtag do it for Grandpa Herb, who is a massive St. John's fan. So Arkansas and St. John's won. And then I had Creighton over Louisville. And this was just and the Creighton over Louisville was just a knowing how underrated Creighton is because I watched them closely in the Big East. And that was obviously a great pick. They killed Louisville. So I was 2-0 yesterday on my college picks. But yes, overall, boring game. Boring day, I mean. Boring day. We got to see it's fun. We're going to get to see McNeese again. Michigan and SC San Diego was a good game, but Michigan pulled it out, so no upset there. And a fun first day. Look, a day full of watching college basketball. I'll sign up for any day of the week, any day of the year. I will sign up to just sit down and have a nonstop action of college basketball. I will sign up for that. But nothing where I feel like usually on these days you get a game where at a certain point, everybody stops what they're doing and turns on the game. And that just didn't really happen yesterday. There wasn't really, maybe a little bit for that SC San Diego Michigan game last night. And then because I had Clemson beating McNeese on my bracket, I turned on that game when Clemson made it close. But besides for those two games, there was nothing where if I wasn't watching the game already, I was like, I need to flip over to catch what's going on. And that's maybe a good measurement for whether it was a boring day. Yeah, I wanted to see McNeese with that guy Amir Khan and the boombox. Whatever, you have to watch that. Okay, so we're still part of yesterday's slate. The I went on a bit of a Twitter rant last night. It's a good thing I had St. John's distracting me. It was a good thing all day. I was thinking about St. John's. I only was really interested in watching St. John's last night. I was more focused on college basketball than I was on other games, but I was flipping back and forth. The Rangers, the New York Rangers of hockey, of the NHL, are still competing for a playoff spot. And so I'm flipping back and forth. I'm seeing what's going on in this Rangers game. And I view there's a certain way players on teams can disrespect their fans. If you go out there and you night in, night out, don't play at a certain level, that's disrespectful to your fans. That's disrespectful to the people at the game, to the fans at the game that paid good money to go see you. It's disrespectful to the people who dedicate their time at home to put their TV on and pay for cable packages. Now, if it happens once in a while, fine. I'm all fine with that. You're entitled to a night off. A night off in the sense that a bad night. You're entitled to once in a while a bad night. But for every single game, to lack effort, look like you're sleeping your way through the game because you think you're good when you're really not. It's disgusting. The Rangers tie the game at 1 and give the lead back up 9 seconds later. With 9 seconds left in the first period. So they score with 47 seconds left, then they give up a goal with 9 seconds left. That's a lack of effort. Don't disrespect me like that. Don't waste my time like that. And effort falls squarely on the head coach. I don't care that I keep calling to fire Rangers head coaches. Find the right guy. If Peter Laviolette cannot get a certain level of play out of his players, fire him. Bye. Book your tea time already. Get out of here. I'm done. I am done with this dumb team. Do not waste my time like this. Do not. It's crazy to me. How is it that the Rangers have this cycle now where they hire a head coach, they're good in the first year, and then they stink in the second year? They think in the second year of their tenure, we're good enough. We don't need to try. No effort from us. Can you imagine in life people just did that? Oh, we're too good. No more effort. We're good. Jeez. They lose 4-3 to the Maple Leafs last night, and it's just sickening. Sickening. It's not like there's not talent on this team. Wake up! Jeez! On a brighter note, though, we had Ovechkin. So Alex Ovechkin scored last night. Now he only needs 7 more. He needs 7 more points. 7 more goals to break the record. We're really getting there. There's 11 games left in the season. He needs 7. It is a tall task. We will see if he's able to turn it on here late in the season. But Ovechkin is continuing. We're in the home stretch now. The Caps beat the Flyers 3-2. And now the last thing I want to talk about from yesterday's slate was, I've gone on rants on this show about Bronny James. He doesn't belong in the NBA. Stephen A. Smith was right. Bronny had 17 points last night for the Lakers. They lost 110-89 to the Bucks. But Bronny doing a little bit of the work himself, trying to prove the haters wrong. Good for him. Truly. Good for him to come in now. Obviously, they couldn't pull it out. But good for him doing his part. It's you can't really accidentally score 17 points in the NBA. So clearly he's more capable at least than I would have never thought he could put up 17 points in the NBA. Honest to God. I would have never thought that he'd have that in him. Okay, that was yesterday's slate brought to you by nobody. We move on now to our MLB preview, our 2025 MLB preview, and today we will be previewing the American League West. And this is such an interesting division to me because we had the Rangers Rangers win the World Series 2 years ago. But the Astros are the team that that annually are owning this division and going deep on playoff runs. So I think that in the grand scheme of things, are the questions to be answered are the Astros going to just continue their dominance? Are the Rangers going to get back to form? Or are one of these other three teams, the Mariners, the Athletics, and the Angels, are either of them going to be able to kind of get over the hump here in this season and be good? Because I do think that this could be a strong division. I really do think this could be a strong division. So let's start out with the Angels. So last year they finished 63-99. Their big adds this offseason, I thought they had a very nice offseason. So Yusei Kikuchi, Jorge Soler, they also added Yoan Moncada, Tim Anderson, and Travis d'Arnaud. So nice depth pieces, nice front of the line pieces. Not really a big bat. I love Jorge Soler. A year ago, he was considered one of the top DH free agents. So he slots right into their lineup. The lineup goes like this: Taylor Ward in left field, the projected lineup according to MLB.com. Nolan Schanuel at first base. Mike Trout in right field. Jorge Soler at DH. Logan O'Hoppe at he's catching. That's their their up and coming catcher. Yoan Moncada at third base. Luis Rengifo at second base. Joe Adell in center field, and Kevin Newman at shortstop. This is not one of your best lineups in baseball. You have Trout. Hopefully you can get some good production out of Soler, and hopefully you get some good production out of O'Hoppe. And if you do, then you're talking about a very solid lineup. But you need other guys to step up. Now, the rotation here, Yosei Kikuchi would be their ace, Tyler Anderson, number 2, Jose Soriano, their number 3, Kyle Hendricks, their 4, and Jack Kashanowitz, I guess, would be their 5. So the rotation leaves what to be desired, but Kikuchi was fantastic when he got traded to the Astros last year, and if he can be the ace that this Angels team have been lacking for so long, if you can be the ace, then you're talking about a team that can be more competitive than I would necessarily think. And I think I have so much faith in Ron Washington that he can get more out of these guys than managers have been able to in the past. Okay, let's move on now to the A's, and I think this is one of the most fun teams in baseball. So they finished last year 69 and 93. They only had one big ad, and that was Luis Severino. That was one of the first big free agent signings of the offseason. But this is a team that I really like, and first of all, I love their lineup. Lawrence Butler is, I think, one of the most underappreciated players in baseball. And yes, the A's seemingly always are rostering the most underrated, underappreciated players. So Lawrence Butler would lead off for them in right field, and Brent Rooker, who's also fantastic in left field. J.J. Bleday in center field. Shea Langeliers at catcher. He's also was great last year. Tyler Soderstrom at first base. Miguel Andujar at DH. Zach Geloff at second base, and I think he's going to take further steps towards his greatness. He's at second base. Gio Urshela at third base, and Jacob Wilson at shortstop. So again, I think that this is a lineup that is young. Brent Rooker and Zach Geloff are getting a year older. And there's nice pieces here. Urshela and Duhar in the back. And Lawrence Butler. I just think that all around this is going to be a solid lineup, and a lineup that is going to give starting pitchers a harder time than people think it will. In terms of the rotation, another strong part of their team, Luis Severino is their ace. JP Sears is their number 2. Osvaldo Bido is their number 3. Jeffrey Springs their 4, and Joey Estes is their 5. So again, a nice, solid rotation here, with a lot of good pieces. And so so the question is, they were a 69 win team last year, and how much better can they get this year? With their big addition being Luis Severino, and how good can Luis Severino be? How much more can he add to this team? He is a veteran presence for their young starters. And it's always good to just have that all reliable at the front of your rotation. And a young team like this, you kind of need a stabling force every 5th day. So I think that was a nice move. The only thing that gives me hesitation, I can't stand the fact that they're playing in a AAA stadium this year. And I can't believe that there are 2 teams in Major League Baseball playing in that situation. Okay, let's move on to the Texas Rangers. They finished last year 78 and 84. Their big adds were Jock Peterson, who I really wanted for the Mets, Jake Berger, and they lost Max Scherzer. And so this is, I think, one of the biggest wild card teams to me in terms of they only won 78 games last year after coming off the World Series the year before. And so we know that the ceiling is so high for what the Rangers are capable of doing. Their lineup, Marcus Semien would lead off, Corey Seager batting second, Wyatt Langford batting third, Adolis Garcia batting fourth, Jock Peterson batting fifth, Josh Young batting at third base batting sixth, Jake Berger batting seventh, Jonah Heim at catcher, and Evan Carter in center field. This is possibly the best lineup in this division. I think it's the most complete lineup. I think that Jock Peterson was an excellent ad for them. Excellent ad. He is a good ad for any team, and he slots right in the middle of that lineup, adding great power. So I think that this lineup is fantastic. Now, the what's going to really be the deciding factor here for the Texas Rangers is the rotation. So, as it stands, the rotation is number 1, Jacob deGrom, number 2, Nathan Eovaldi, number 3, Tyler Mahle, number 4, Jack Leiter, and number 5, Kumar Rocker. So, just breaking this down for a second, you have deGrom, who has not been healthy through his first, so he's been with the Rangers now. This is his 3rd season. He got injured early 2023. He missed all of 2024, and now he's hoping to return and be healthy in 2025. And so we know the kind of impact deGrom has when he's healthy. The question is he going to remain healthy? Which is exactly why this is going to be kind of the deciding factor here. How good and how healthy can this rotation be? Eovaldi is a solid number 2. Now, also, it's part of this is how good can Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker be in the back end? How healthy can they stay, and how good can they be in the 4 and 5? I always like to say your rotation is pretty much as good as your 4th and 5th starters. Your 4th and 5th best pitchers can dictate how good your rotation is. Okay, let's move on here to the Seattle Mariners. Another very, very interesting team here in the AL West. And so last year they finished 85 and 77. They caught a lot of flack this offseason for adding nobody. Adding nobody at all. No big ads. So the rotation right now looks like Victor Robles leading off. Remember, he came over from the Nationals and just was horrible with the Nationals, but totally broke out with the Mariners. Julio Rodriguez batting second. Cal Raleigh at catcher, batting third. Randy Rosarena in left field, batting fourth. Luke Raley at first base, batting fifth. Jorge Polanco at third base, batting sixth. Ravi Telez at DH. Ryan Bliss at second base, and J.P. Crawford at shortstop. Now, the ad that they had was Rowdy Tellez. They signed to a minor league deal, and he's right now slotted to be their opening day DH. So that's, I guess, their big ad. And the big knock on them was that they did not add a bat. This was a team that the reason why they were bad down the stretch was because they could not hit. Now, they'll come and say, well, we found Victor Robles. We traded for Randy Rosarena at the deadline, so we have him now. And those are kind of like the ads that we made in the middle of last year, and we're relying on them to kind of improve, be our offseason addition, count as the offseason additions. I get it. Randy Rosarena is going to have to return to form here if they want that argument to pass, is number one. And Victor Robles is going to have to continue being as good as he was when he moved over from the Nationals. If they can get elite production from Julio Rodriguez, that's another big one. That's, this outfield has a big variance of how good they could be. A big ceiling, but a high ceiling, but a really low floor. Julio Rodriguez, I hope, can be great, but he's just not been quite exactly what we thought he would be early on here in his first couple of years in the major leagues. Now, the rotation was and is their bright spot, right? This is the best of it. This is the best rotation possibly in baseball. Luis Castillo's their number 1, Logan Gilbert's their number 2, Bryce Miller their number 3, Brian Wu their number 4, and Emerson Hancock their number 5. Now, George Kirby would have been their other top dog in this rotation, but he is injured. He has right shoulder inflammation, and so they have an injury to their starting rotation. And again, I think that this team, ultimately, we know how good their pitching is going to be. It is about how good can Randy Rosarena be, and how good can Victor Robles repeat his dominance in that leadoff spot. Okay, let's move on. We've got one last team to preview here, and that is the Houston Astros. They finished last year 88-73. They had one of the busier off seasons. They traded away Kyle Tucker and Ryan Presley. Those are both in separate deals to the Cubs. But they picked up Christian Walker. They picked up Isaac Paredes in that trade for Tucker. And so the team looks a lot different. The rotation is Jose Altuve leading off, Isaac Paredes batting second, Yordan Alvarez batting third, Christian Walker batting fourth, Yainer Diaz at catcher batting fifth, Jeremy Pena at shortstop, Chas McCormick in right field, Mauricio Dubon at second base, and Jake Myers in center field. I go through this lineup, and I am like, wow, they did considering they got rid of Kyle Tucker, I really, really, really like what they did here. I really like this lineup. I think this lineup's deep. There's no easy out. I think that they did as well as they could have if they were planning on trading Kyle Tucker and getting value back in what was a deal that people were really questioning them about. But I like this lineup a lot. So we'll see if they're able to continue their dominance in the AL West in terms of, from their lineups perspective. Their rotation is Framber Valdez, their number 1, Hunter Brown, their number 2, Spencer Arrighetti, their number 3, Ronel Blanco, their number 4, and Hayden Wesneski, their number 5. I just think that this rotation is great. This lineup is great. I have no reason to believe that they're not going to be great this season. To me, the question is, for this whole division, are the Rangers going to have a bounce-back year? Can the Mariners reach their high ceiling? And we're talking about a division full of teams with high ceilings. I think that the Angels have a high ceiling. I think that the Athletics have a high ceiling. So we're talking about teams all with high ceilings. We're talking about another division. We spoke about the AL East 2 days ago, and how I thought that was a deep division and really kind of could host a bunch of playoff teams. And we're talking about, I think, another division here with that potential. There are a lot of teams here that I think could win the division. I think there are a lot of teams here who could be wildcard teams. Ultimately, though, I don't think anything crazy is going to happen. I think the Astros win the division. I think that the Rangers have a better year. And I think that overall, we're going to see a lot more wins out of the AL West in 2025. Okay, that's a show. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Follow on X. I've been tweeting from my personal account, Dave Schwaz, on X. Follow on Spotify. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back with tons of March Madness to cover on Monday. Have a great weekend, this early game podcast, and have a great, great day.